So this is my match with Denis. Denis is actually a good friend. We've trained together quite a bit, and usually when we train, I end up passing or trying to pass, and he ends up playing bottom and guard a lot. So I pull guard right away in order to play from the bottom because I figure we're going to end up in our regular dynamic anyway. So I didn't want to spend time wrestling. And there I got a really cool John Wayne sweep, also called the knee lever. Let's take a look at that. So like most sweeps, it's based on being able to block all the posts on one side, either block or remove them, and then force your partner into that direction. But because they don't have the tools to stay up, then they'll roll over. So unfortunately, we can't see from this angle, but I've got in half guard, my feet are on either side of his knee, and when I tip my knee over, that leg is not going to be able to post out, and his hip's going to be heading down that way. Now he'll be able to block it with his left hand by putting his hand out, but his hand is right here in front of my body, and I'm going to prevent it from posting out because I have that cross grip on the wrist, and that forces the sweep. So I get 2 points for the sweep, and we're back into our very typical dynamic here. Denis slaps on a guillotine, and he gets this is a really tight guillotine, and it was really good. Let's look at that again. Some things that make it quite good is his wrist placement. So here he adjusts, and as he adjusts, he buries his elbow. So you see his elbow when he starts is quite high and behind my head. So his elbow's high, and then he readjusts and tucks his elbow under so that his hand can come up and dominate this space. So that's first a really deep wrist grip. That's really good. And then he starts to get on dominating this side to prevent me from jumping over to the other side, which is also another way that makes it hard, quite tight. And he gets the high elbow position, which makes it hard for me to block with this arm. That was a really tight guillotine, and I post on the hips and roll over, and he scrambles up to the top in this, and then I go into turtle and prevent the sweep. But that was a really, really tight guillotine. Afterwards, talking to him, he said he thought he had it, and then he goes for a second guillotine. This one's not as tight. Our bodies are straightened up instead of him having an advantageous angle, and I'm using my shoulder against him to put some pressure onto his body and keep him there. I'm tripoding up on my feet and just creating space with my head while I dig with the other arm to release the grip. That was cool double guillotine attack, 2 in a row there, Denis. Really cool. I think he's over for a Kimura now, trying to get a grip on that. This match, the 3 matches that I had with Denis were way more intense than I was expecting, because usually when we roll in the gym, he's very flowy and technical, and the intensity here took me off guard. It was cool. Really fun match. So here I'm trying to open his guard so I can start trying to pass, and so I was using that knee wedge by standing up and trying to get my knee right between his tailbone. I really wanted a little bit past the tailbone, so this is not ideal. That's why it took a little bit longer to open, but eventually it's hard to do anything from there, and he's got to open his guard. Once his guard is open, now I'm trying to find a way to dominate one side. I've been working a lot on body lock passing at the gym with everyone, so I was looking for kind of a pressure pass of just taking space away, and I sat off to the side, got into half guard. There's one thing that Denis does really well is he gets underhooks from all over the place. There's a bit of a scramble that I get. I guess I got 3 points for a pass there. But you'll see that when he's on bottom, he manages to find underhooks all over the place, and that creates really cool opportunities for him. Like right here, he's already starting to get the underhook on that side as he's building up. But yeah, I think he has it now. But I've got the whizzer and a bit of head control, pushing his head down. Now, that would have been an opportunity, maybe, like right there, Denis got this moment where he was underneath, he's got my weight off of him. That could have been a moment to try to scramble up and take top position for him. But he elected to just get more frames in and play a more defensive role, and then that allows me to slowly extricate my leg and consolidate top position again, keep working on the passing game. So I clear his hand off my head because I know that I want to have my posture and have all the mobility that's available to me when I have free posture. Now I'm trying to create a position where he's got less options. So there I stuff one of the legs. I'm trying to create a headquarters position by stuffing the leg between my legs. And then he ends up not letting me settle into headquarters, and he turns towards me here, and we end up in more of a half guard. That might have been another attempt at snatching up a Kimura from his part. So that was one thing. This is a spot that you want to get to when passing, is flattened half guard. And so here he's got his knee shield, and that's what's preventing me from going forward. This is his knee on my abdomen here. So I push it away when I think he's not expecting it. And as soon as I push it away, I close the space between our torsos, get that chest to torso connection, and create some upper body connection. And that's round one. Really nice match. Really fun. The guillotine threats were very real. That was especially the first one. The first one was a really good attack. Nice one, Denis. All right, let's take a look at round two. So in this round, I think Denis decides to pull guard. So change of reverse the roles here. And it looked like he was going to get up, so I dove back in to consolidate top position to go back into passing mode here. Here's something that's kind of a nice trick that I did. I think I did a couple times in this match. Is I connect my forearm to my knee in some way so that I can get a bit of a stapling over the leg. So here, my knee's not stapling the leg. I put my elbow in, and then I pass it off to my leg. Denis recovers that leg pretty well, but I think I do this a couple of times. So here I've got my no, never mind, don't do it there. We're back into a regular half guard with his knee shield. Typically the battle in half guard with a knee shield for the bottom person is to stay on your side and then find a couple different options. You've got the John Wayne style sweep that I hit in the earlier match, going over to Denis' left in this case. You can isolate this arm and go for a Kimura. You can also dig an underhook, which is what he's doing right there. I'm not sure what he's going for with that underhook, but he did the underhook and then connected his hands to isolate my arm. I slipped it out because it felt like it was in danger. Denis also got a lot of omoplatas and gogoplatas in his repertoire, and I felt like when his leg came over, I felt like he was going for one of those. Let's see, right here, and so in order for him to do that, he needs to be on his side. So as I felt the leg come up my back, I moved my body towards that leg so that my torso was pushing into his thigh, forcing his thigh over that way. And that prevents him from getting the angle over here. So you see I start to shift a little bit to that direction with my torso, and that prevents him from putting his leg over and attacking either the omoplata or the gogoplata or whatever it was that he was going for. Now with his body lock connection, I'm just trying to undo the legs and get the pass. And there he goes, digging his underhooks like it's nobody's business. Easy underhooks for Denis, the king of underhooks. So now I want to get a better upper body grip here. I've got a pretty good base, but I need to escape that. Luckily, he pummels my arms out for me, and then we're back into a very regular guard. So the closed guard, same old story. I need to open his guard in order to pass it. In order to open this guard, I need to stand up. In order to stand up, I need to make sure I've got some kind of grips on him that are preventing him from breaking my posture. So in that case, it was hands on biceps or armpits. I get my hands over here, and that prevents him from grabbing my head. I can stand up and then start to work the legs. There's a bit of an exchange with the legs. He's trying to find a way to make me fall over or do a trip. I'm trying to find a way to force the guard open here. This was an interesting exchange here. So typically when we roll, I often play passing and don't often go for leg attacks. But here, as he opens his guard, he slips in to try to get the leg. I let the knee come out and try to come around to the back. But he's got such a nice position with his underhook. Here, he's blocking me from getting a good position. He's controlling my hip. My back's exposed. He's got an entanglement with the legs. I chase around a little bit, but my back's really exposed here. He almost gets the back. And so I turn around and take the leg instead. So he crosses his legs, and I'm sitting down. His leg is between my legs, and if he can clear my arm and get my hips a little bit lower, climb his body up, get his torso connected to my back, then he's going to get the back here. But his knee's exposed, and so I go for it. Grab the knee, sit back, and go for a knee bar. Now, I was actually expecting here for, I think I caught him off guard. We were surprised by this, but I was expecting for him to turn his toes up, and that would turn his knee up, and his knee wouldn't be in danger anymore. And then I would move my hips out and turn to face him, keep his foot on my left side of my body, and then we would end up in a 50-50 position. But instead, he caught him off guard and got him with the knee bar. Another fun round, really cool, back and forth. And then third round. This one I think I pull guard again, like the first round. We high five, start it up. I get some grips and then sit down to guard. From here I've got that, I think I do a scissor sweep. Yeah, right there. So the scissor sweep, like the other sweeps, like many sweeps, it involves blocking one side. So I'm blocking the far side of his body. I'm using my right hand probably to block his arm on the other side, and then my right leg to make sure that he can't step out with his other leg as this leg pushes him over. Right there. So you see he can't post out with his arm because it's blocked by my other arm, which you can't see. This leg's blocking this leg, and this one's pushing him over. So that gets the sweep. And good on him for recovering guard right away instead of getting stuck in either a half guard that's already almost passed or mount. And we're back into passing and guard playing here. So one of the first things you want to do when you're passing is make sure that the guard player doesn't establish their grips on you. So one of the things that you can do in order to do that is to make sure that you close the distance once they don't have their feet on you anymore. Obviously they can get other types of grips, but if you don't let them place their feet on you, then their grip options are already limited. So that's a good first step in guard passing, is don't let your partner put their feet on you. So here we're in a kind of half guard again. He's got his knee shield in, and that's keeping some distance between his hips and my torso, which is making it harder for me to use my pressure passing. I need to get past his knee shield. I've got a tight waist here, which is allowing me some kind of body contact, but it's not enough. And then as he sits up, he gets the underhook, I pummel back, and it's a bit of an ongoing conversation. This is the underhook that he digs so well. Right now I've got it, but I think he's close to putting his back in. Yeah, now he has the underhook, and I have to make sure that he can't use it effectively. In order for him to use this underhook really well, he wants to have it as deep as possible. So he wants to reach his hand over to my opposite shoulder and get our spines aligned. In order for me to negate the underhook, I want to make sure that our bodies are more perpendicular. So if I could keep my head a little bit closer to his hips, my elbow jamming his elbow into his hips, that makes that underhook kind of useless. So then now that he's already got it, he's done a good job of pummeling it in. Now we're both kind of fighting on making sure that that's either useful or useless. And he noticed it wasn't being much of use, so he pulled it out and decided to frame instead. It was really cool. It was good like dynamic strategy of switching to something else when your first option isn't working. So we're back into passing. I don't want to let him put his feet on me. I want to try to control his knees and get past his line of his knees. He almost got a sweep there, but left enough space that I could grab this crossface and underhook, and then he tries to get some more frames involved in order to prevent me from passing again. And back into the closed guard. He sets up his knee across as if he wanted to do a scissor sweep, the same technique that I got a little bit earlier. I really like standing to try to pass the guard. It allows me to be more mobile and move around. There's a knee cut that turned into a mount, so let's take a look at that. Standing, and here Denis on his right side, and so I want to take him over to his left side just to switch around and create the movement. As I do, now he switched sides, and I got past his feet. He doesn't have his feet on me, and the next line of defense are his knees, and I'm pretty well past his knees, and I just want to make sure he doesn't have room to put them in front. So as he starts to try to put them in front, I lower my hips down, I get an underhook on that side, and I try to go over this knee, which he'd already started to insert. And then he's trying to buck and create some room, and in that scramble, I slip my leg, now that I'm past the knees, over to the other side to get mount, which gives me a 3-point for the pass and a 4-point for consolidating mount. And from mount, I'm trying to get his elbows isolated above his shoulder line. So I'm trying to stay on top, but then also get a more dominant position to get his elbows up. Trying to transition to the back now to score some more points, but also have a position to attack from is in the back. Don't have my hooks in yet, so I'm not getting 4 points for that, but it is allowing some other attack options. I was trying to throw a last minute armbar up there. I saw the time was running out and didn't have enough time to get a good finish on that. Cool match, Denis. Really fun training with you. Thanks for the competition match, and look forward to the next one. Oos.